It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say, is even harder to find.
All right, everybody.
yeah.
I think we're live, right?
We are live.
Hopefully everybody can see us.
Better watch out.
I know. First live
right now.
stream podcast of all things real estate. We're excited to be broadcasting
100%.
live from Double D's in Los Gatos.
Yeah.
A place that we probably frequent 4 times a week.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
So shout out to Dean.
Darren, Dean, the whole entire staff here is
Yeah.
absolutely awesome.
They always
great
take care of
venue.
us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the opportunity to broadcast live here. And I know we're going to have people dropping in
Yep.
over the next hour. Anybody that pops by, we'll buy you a drink. You can ask
Yeah.
a real estate question.
You got to ask a question to get a drink.
Oh, perfect.
Does it say you're live? Doesn't say I'm
and
live.
Aaron's still trying to figure out his technology, but that's all right. So we are going to get started, and
How do you see that?
here we go.
If you guys can't find
Is anybody
it live,
listening
yeah,
yet?
if you
Come
can't
on.
find it live on our own Instagrams, if you guys go and tune in on VKG Group Instagram on Instagram
And Facebook.
we will be live there.
It's not on mine.
Jason Stinger's in the house.
All right.
Do you bring a question?
Why?
You better ask a
gotta
question.
ask- you have
Oh,
to
that's
ask
your
a question.
question? Oh, dude, you just did that. Work that loophole. Yes, you can have a beer.
All right. So
What's up with all these awards?
well, I don't know. I wasn't there for the awards
Yeah,
ceremony,
yeah,
so what
yeah. Half the
happened?
team wasn't there.
So what
At least you
happened?
guys showed up for the year to get these awards. So last night we had our awards ceremony for Keller Williams, and we cleaned house. Number 1 group. I mean, I don't know, what are these? Number 1 group, agents, millionaire agents, everything. So thank you to all of our clients, because without you, we would not be able to have these beautiful pieces of glass in front of us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And sometimes I feel like awards can be kind of silly. But if you take a step back and you look at the amount of hard work and effort our teams put in to get these awards, I'm proud of you guys, man. I mean, Mark and I decided to build a team 3 years ago.
Something like
right?
that, yeah.
I mean, we've both done our own iterations of teams, and now we've got the 3 of you guys. Great support staff.
Incredible support.
Yeah, and so because of
Jessica
you guys,
and Gina.
Yep.
Thank you.
And because of you guys, we're able to collect these awards for our office, and not only that, but to be nationally recognized. Top 1% of all real estate agents and teams across the United States. So, shout out to you guys for helping Mark and I, and we appreciate you all.
And yourself, helping yourself and
Oh,
your
yeah.
families and all that good stuff.
There you go.
It's a good thing. And I want to add to that, because I mean, you guys are awesome. As we've said, it is. it's not just a.
You can't say that with a straight face.
I can't.
Tell us how you really feel, Mark.
You guys are a great addition to the team. I love you guys. Thank you.
Mark ran in here cussing like a sailor.
Oh man, coming in
throwing
hot.
shot
That's
glasses around.
Shot glasses. I thought we couldn't drink on
I just
TV,
told
national
you that
TV.
because
Oh, is that what it was?
because otherwise you'd be 10 shots in the first 15 minutes.
All right.
Right.
Wait.
Well, go ahead.
Who's live?
We're all live.
I'm actually on live right now. Like I mentioned before, if you want to see us live, go to VKG
You've got an entire
Instagram.
production team right here who's handling that, man.
Yeah.
See the crap that
None of
happens
my
on these
friends
live
can
feeds?
see it.
Hey,
You need to excuse yourself so you can go get your technical difficulties addressed.
he was the one coming in hot with his hair all gelled. and
That's what happens when you come in 3 minutes before
Slick
airtime.
back
Hey,
Charlie.
it's nice of you to show up today.
Okay,
I am here. All right.
we're on live.
So
Let's
why don't
go.
you go figure out your issues, and if you can get it done within an hour, come on back.
All right, so again, we're here
All
at
the
Double
issues?
D's.
Yeah.
One of the best. I really want to give a shout out to Darren and Deed, because these guys have been there for the community for over the years. During the pandemic,
Absolutely.
they served first responders and everybody else. This place is absolutely awesome. Our kids have grown up in this environment. It's just great.
And they also own
Forbes, yeah, you want a great
Steakhouse.
steak in
Yeah.
town? Forbes Steakhouse. I was going to say Forbes Group, but that's a whole different
you.
story. Yeah.
All right. So
yeah.
so why don't we jump into some of our
I
regular?
was going to talk about some of my favorite food here.
Oh, we'll talk about your favorite food, man.
Best chicken wings in the world.
They are the best hot wings.
Good French
Killer
dip, too.
French dip,
Yeah.
apple pecan salad.
Yeah.
They have some
Okay,
amazing
let's talk about real estate.
pastas as well.
Yeah, Jeet, our resident vegan.
You know what I'd like to throw out there, and I didn't clear this with you guys.
Meat challenge for Jeet.
Meat.
Well, no, our
The
vegetarian.
vegan meat.
No, I would like to make a contest out to our listeners
Okay.
about providing, because what's the name of our podcast? All Things Real Estate. Yeah, well, there's probably about 100 of those out there already.
Yep.
Let's redo the name, right?
Okay.
Let's blow this thing up. Let's do a contest
Says us
for
since
anybody.
January 1st,
Send
2023.
send us your name recommendations.
You did get a
And,
great
okay, but hold on. And anybody we use, any name we use, we will pay you $500 for the right to use that name.
Trevon, listen
Wow.
in, Trevon.
Yeah, and
He'll be like a whole list of them. They'll be sending over.
well, and then I think what we'll do is we'll do a poll on Instagram and Facebook.
There you
and
go.
Let the viewers choose the name.
Absolutely.
I actually have some names that ChatGPT had generated for us too, so I'm gonna mix those
Okay,
in
cool.
and see if
Let's do it.
AI can beat.
I see a couple shots
That's a
coming in here.
fireball
I thought I
for
was
those
told
guys.
we couldn't do that. Somebody told me we couldn't do that.
I told you you can't do that.
Oh, man.
All right, thank you.
Is that it?
There you
really? Gosh.
All right.
Cheers.
Just because I was the only one
here.
supporting our team last
Guys.
night, other than Jeet and Aaron.
So,
3 out of 5.
Oh, there you go.
So real estate.
Yeah, is that what we're here for?
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so we're here for real estate.
All right, let's go.
All right, so I'm going to jump in to our market update. And I'm going to say something for everybody that's listening and watching right now. We have no inventory. If you know anybody that's thinking about selling a home in the next 6 to 12 months, let us know. We would love to get in front of them. We're in a really interesting market right now. As we know, the market dropped, middle of last year.
Yeah.
And everybody says, well, when's the bottom? Well, statistically, and shout out to Brett Jennings, because I actually saw some data that he put
I love
out there.
Brett. He's
Brett's
a great
good
guy.
dude. January 20th, focus up, listen, mustache man, this is important, because, January 20th of this year was the bottom of the market.
Wow.
So, go ahead.
The bottom of the market.
In
So you're
terms-
saying for in terms of valuation, listing inventory, what?
So in terms of average price, right? So prices dropped.
Yep,
So prices, peaked
Yeah.
May, June of last year. They dropped.
Right.
Since January
Got it.
20th of this year,
it.
prices have been steadily. The average median price in our area has been steadily increasing over time.
Right.
So for those little buyers saying I was waiting for the market to crash, well, January 2nd was the bottom of that market.
And you're going to go over inventory numbers and all that, right? Because I do have some comments on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, and we cover this a lot, but I think it's worth repeating. About 1.9 million people in
Yep.
Santa Clara County.
Yeah.
561 single-family homes for sale right
That's
now.
nuts. That is absolutely ludicrous. So does anybody know, sitting at this table or in the audience? Oh, look at all these people out there. Isn't that great? No, I know. We'll get right to you. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. What the highest amount of listings that Santa Clara County had combined, townhomes,
9,800.
condos. Why do you always steal the thunder, dude? Because you know
listen.
that. There you go.
I didn't get to hear the
hold on,
question.
9,800 homes.
Wait, what's the question?
That's
Ni-
the most amount of
The
active
highest amount of
inventory
inventory that's ever been in Santa
Ever
Clara County.
recorded?
Yeah.
And was that
9,800. What?
2001,
Nope.
7?
2008.
2008. CG, listen too. It was 2008.
He wasn't born then.
What was Aaron's prediction for the end of the year?
Well, no, I thought it was
It's not
1,600
the
by
end of the year,
June.
it's the mid.
The 1600, right?
Yeah.
1600.
Predicted?
And then after that, I was so confident in my answer that I looked back with David and I realized that we've
David had to
never
influence
been
him.
at that over the last 4 months. So I think I have to write a check for.
$5,000, I think it was.
First of all,
Oh, you're buying the sponsorship for music in the park.
Yeah, so back to my market minute. It's taking 10 minutes. 561 single-family
Bro, we're here
homes.
for an hour. Take your
All right,
time.
that's true. Okay, I'll speak slower. 561 single-family homes. That's all.
that's crazy.
From Gilroy to Palo Alto. That's it, right?
So you know what's really interesting about that? Because we know the height of the market was March 2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go year over year, Santa Clara County as a whole is down 23%.
44%.
Well, is that 40% in transactions or in value?
Transactions and volume.
Okay,
so,
right.
So not value.
Right, value's down like 23%, though,
Correct,
right?
sorry.
But all of a sudden now we're seeing these homes because it's been low, but people are coming out of the woodworks now. The programs they're putting out for buyers,
Yeah.
they're picking them up. But I mean, it's literally almost back to where it was March in 2022 as far as the activity is concerned.
Well, Aaron and I were talking
Right?
about this earlier today, and I disagree. Now, it feels that way.
Wait a minute, isn't every listing we're putting on the market right now we're getting multiple offers and it's off within a week or 2 weeks?
Yes.
I'm not saying it's selling for the same amount of money.
Right. But I think the difference is because interest rates
Hi,
increase.
Dee Dee.
Oh, hey, look.
Hey, look at that. We got a look at that.
Because interest rates increased, it shrunk the buyer pool. Yes or no?
people want
Say that one more time.
towards
I was distracted.
All right. So, because interest rates increased, it
Yes.
shrunk the pool of potential
Yes,
buyers.
absolutely.
Right?
The immediate shock of that, right?
Well, not just
Reality.
but
Okay, all right,
affordability
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
That's right.
So there are less qualified buyers today than there was a year ago. It's just a fact.
Fair enough. Yeah,
It's just a
absolutely.
fact.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it feels like last year now because we only have 560 homes for sale.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is there are less buyers in our market right now, but because we have so few listings, we get that
supply and demand is still there.
Ben, you had 200 people through your open house in Los Altos,
right?
And it was a $4 million house, right? And you ended up with how many offers?
5 offers.
Yeah. So, there's 5 people in that neighborhood that want to buy $4 million homes. You had 12 offers on your Morgan Hill townhome, right? So,
I'm going to throw something out there, though.
Yeah.
I do believe that some of this activity our clients are seeing is because they're our clients. When we look at that property we just sold and got offers on in Brookside, there are other houses on the market right across the street that has historically sold for more money than ours has, and yet we just generated. If you look at those other houses, you're going to see an example of what our listings look like by being staged and looking awesome and priced right and all that stuff with the twilight tours and the open houses, everything that we do. Those other homes that are on the market that generally sell for more than ours have now had to reduce their prices, and they're still sitting on the market when we sold ours within 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Jeet did an incredible job.
Thank you, bringing in the buyer.
It really, it goes to show who you work with matters, right?
Absolutely.
Like the way the properties are showcased and put in front of the buyers, making it easy for them to come inside and check the property out. And, having those kind of homes right across the street as well,
they helps
us.
100%.
Right? Helps us get the property sold because they can really compare how our property showcase versus the competition.
Yeah. So I didn't want to derail you from your conversation, but I needed to point that out.
No, you're fine. And I'll wrap it up, and then I have a question for Aaron. So 561 single-family homes on the market, 600 pending, right? So again,
how many actives do we have?
561
in Santa Clara County.
I said that.
Single-family homes, not condos.
Welcome to the podcast.
Oh my God!
So are you saying there's more pending than sales right now?
Correct.
Than actives?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then on the condo
Crazy.
townhome front, same thing. 245 active condos and townhomes, 265 pending, and then we've got about 250 coming soon properties. But my question for Aaron, and it's something I think you excel at. I mean, we as a team, but getting a
Hi, Heather.
listing
All
ready.
these people walking in. It's so great.
Getting a listing ready, right? And upgrades and remodel and the amount of work that you put into a listing compared to another agent. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between, maybe you, our team, and the average agent out there?
Yeah. So I think you are right. It's something that we've kind of developed over the last 9 years that is, at this point, a proven strategy. We just did it with Ben's listing over in Los Altos. We just did it with the Morgan Hill house. That was listed with a previous agent for 6 months. We were able to sell it in a week. I took a 10-day listing agreement on that.
So take a step back.
I'm going to take a step back.
That. Yeah.
And just explain the end all goal is if we spend $1, we want to generate our clients $3 to $5, right?
Yep.
So changing things that look or appear to be old, getting rid of that early 2000s vibe, I think is super important, right? So ideally, interior paint. Like, do you want me to tell them what I do?
Well, I want you to tell them what you do, in theory, and then I want you to talk about that Morgan Hill listing because it actually sat on the market for 6 months with another agent. You came and took it over, took a 10-day listing agreement, and then sold it with 12 offers. So I want you to kind of dive into that story as well.
Changing out the paint and doing interior paint, always staging. Chances are if you have carpet and you're living in the Bay Area, you have hardwood floors underneath. If you have the hardwood floors underneath, always expose them. I think we pay about $3 to $4 a square foot to refinish those floors. That goes a really long way, but I think staging, getting good photos, that's been a game changer.
In our world, who covers staging? Who pays for staging? We do.
Oh, you do?
Oh, you don't? Uh-oh. Yeah, you do now.
And another big thing that gives you a full remodel value that I felt is changing your hinges on your cabinets and putting handle pulls on those cabinets. So if you're just having people paint over the cabinets, like the white cabinet thing, put some handle pulls on
right.
And we're doing that on Tiffany and Willow Glen right now.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So,
and then I'll just jump in. The other thing that I initially didn't think about that when you and I did the walkthrough on Tiffany is we updated the recessed lighting trim. Right, because it was that old school.
Oh yeah, where it gets all
plastic
yellow
with the
and brown. Yeah.
Change out the bulbs, and then there was some track lighting in the entryway and some of the bedrooms. So we pop those out. Put a dome light.
We talked about this last podcast. Yeah. If there's a fan, just take it down, put a dome light.
And the cost is
You
minimal.
guys don't like
is-
ceiling
if anything
fans.
is
What's up with
hanging
that?
down.
Ceiling
Yeah,
fans
put it
make
down.
a room feel so small. You should see Ben's listing in Los Gatos
All right,
now,
okay.
before and after.
Anything that
No,
was
so
hanging-
ceiling fans are
any-
like 1990s
anything
or
that was
something?
hanging
Yeah,
from
dude.
the ceiling.
They're
1990s.
practical, but
2
not
inches.
practical to sell.
God, I love being. See, I'll tell you, this is what I love about being on a team. No, because we constantly help each other out, right? And it's like the vast amount of knowledge that we bring to the table. I mean, there's constantly times, or even myself, 30 years in the business, we got 20 years in the business. It's still a matter of, hey, what would you do in this situation, right? And I got to tell you, I just won a listing last week because of David's advice about, listen, go for it, send that video, make it happen. I know Ben was challenged with with the pricing of that property in Los Altos, and you're getting an entire just vast amount of brain power and experience. It's not, and that's the benefit. I think,
Well,
when
so
you-
like now Jess and I, when we do our walkthrough, she just like
Now,
points
who's
to the-
Jess? Who's
Jess
Jess?
is our. She pretty much runs our team.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
She's
the
just
backbone.
Yeah. Her and Jesus is our contractor. They just point to the ceiling fans, and I'm like, yes, of course. It's 2 for $20. Get one of those dome lights. It goes a really
Any more
long
of my
way.
client will ask me, what do you think about that ladder? I'm like, I don't know, but Jess does. That's not my gig.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the fact is, we're able to get into a property, get it ready to market quickly, and present it in a way that appeals to the masses, shortest amount of time, the most cost-efficient way, and then it nets our sellers, the highest amount of
And
profit.
Absolutely.
a question that I get asked all the time is, how long does that take? And I typically say, from the day that we get the listing signed with you, once you're out, it takes us about 30 days to do everything properly and correctly.
And that's if we're like refinishing hardwood floors.
Yeah,
Because usually we can turn a property in 2 weeks.
Pretty quick.
right?
From the day the first vendor goes.
And,
to
and
the
I think
door,
that's a key point, because there's all these programs now. They call them concierge programs, ready sell program, where you have agents out there convincing their clients, hey, let's go and put 250 grand into that. Let's redo your kitchen. Well, what they don't realize is that that's a 3 to 4 month wait.
Yeah.
In a market that we don't know where it's going to be 3 to 4 months from now, do the quick fix.
Once you're committed to it, you need to get in and out as fast as you can,
Yeah,
because it's a
totally.
neutral. Like from the time that you meet that person, it's the same market, right?
Yeah.
If you take 4 months, it could be a completely different market.
100%. 100%.
and we know with what's going on.
Well, shit, nowadays it's like
globally.
360 days a totally different market, right?
No,
I mean, I guess we're not using the U.S. dollar anymore, and we don't get any more oil at all.
I think
Go
in
back.
order for them to
Currency.
change a currency is going to be at least minimum 3. I mean, we're not talking online like a Bitcoin or something. We're talking hard paper cash, right?
Well, and I know we're jumping ahead a little bit, but you have to remember, most of the global economy runs on U.S. currency because it's the most reliable
Right.
and consistent over
Yeah,
time.
that's true. That's true.
That still
I mean,
hasn't
the ruble.
changed.
The ruble isn't solid.
No, not the ruble, not the peso, but the U.S. dollar. And
So, getting back to the stats here,
Yeah.
do we close that out, or? Is
well,
there any
I just
conversations
want to
there?
close it out and say that the problem for consumers out there that are saying, what's the market going to look like 6 months from now, 12 months from now, a year from now? I think the 561 homes that we have on the market right now is very indicative of what we're going to see for probably the next 2 years.
100% agree.
As long as interest rates remain high, people are not going to leave a 2.5% interest rate to go buy a house at 6%.
Right.
Now, in a little while, I'll talk about where I think mortgage interest rates are heading
Okay.
between now and the end of the year.
Right.
But until we see rates back in the 4s to low 5s,
Go ahead.
we're not going to see inventory increase.
So one of these, from somebody who's on the trenches like we are every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does it really mean when we have 580 active homes but 600 pending?
yeah, it means that we have less than a month's worth of inventory.
Right.
Meaning that if no more homes come on the market, we'll have no inventory in 4 weeks.
What's normal? Well, in a normal market.
Well, we
6
haven't
months,
we haven't
8
had
months?
normal in forever.
Well, as I'm saying, but if you're in
Silicon Valley normal is I'd like to
90
have
days?
Yeah, I'd like to have 2 to 3 months worth
Right.
of inventory. Historically, nationally, they want 6 months of inventory. But when's the last time we've had 6 months of inventory? No.
2008,
6 months. Yeah, I've been in the business 9 years now, and I've never.
I was never in their time.
I think 6 months of inventory is at like 3,000 homes on the market.
Correct.
Yeah,
right?
33,000.
But that would mean it's a healthy neutral market. Pen coming in.
Whoa!
All right.
Great catch and great
All
throw by
right.
Jess.
Um,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Hit the applause
Where's
button.
the applause
It's okay.
sign?
You got the laughter. You guys see the laughter?
No, but perfect example. So
Why'd they close the door?
so
Were we that
Jason,
loud?
what's your interest rate on your house?
2.230 big.
Mr.
Yeah.
CFO.
Can you imagine selling your house right now in Los Gatos, staying in Los Gatos, and taking a 6% interest rate?
And a hit on my property tax.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, and that's why, as long as
Right.
interest rates remain high, we're not going to have inventory to sell.
So what's going to increase inventory?
Lower interest rates. That is
Okay.
the only thing.
Is it?
Well, what about layoffs? And what about
But is it why?
inflation?
But why would you? Why would he ever move?
Well,
Unless
life
he-
circumstances.
Well, sure.
Because his wife doesn't like the house. It
but
happened to
the
me.
Well, to your
This
point,
is when my clients go, dude, that white guy on the podcast, he's so unrelatable.
Yeah.
I moved
The
because
old-
my
the-
wife.
the old white guy.
Old white guy.
And it didn't say old.
Oh, guys,
Are you throwing race into the game now?
Oh no, easy.
Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
take it easy.
What do you have to say, Aaron?
But anyway,
Actually,
your
Ben,
point
you know,
is-
Ben's been really quiet over here. What's up with Ben? Are you even
I'm
awake?
just listening in. I truly,
Mr. Grand
I
Slam.
truly enjoy hearing the.
I just think that there's no reason, there's no way that they're going to increase inventory unless they.
lower interest.
But if they lower interest rates,
I think that's
their whole point is that they're trying to make people not buy houses right now.
Yeah. I mean,
People are buying houses.
Well, and that's the great thing of this team, right? You can bring something else to the table like that.
But
'Cause
is it fair to say that the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates at a rate that's unsustainable because they want people to stop buying things, houses,
they're
cars,
trying to
boats,
slow it down.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's not
Get
working.
inflation
No,
under
it is
control.
working, and I am telling you, the economy is slowing down. Look at consumer debt. Look at, and I'm not talking about. So,
is, it
so
is.
I think you and I had this conversation earlier. So when the government looks at CPI,
Yep.
right, 43%, and Jason, you're CFO, so correct me if I'm wrong. 43.
You want to come up here and sit down?
43% of what makes up CPI is shelter. It's housing, right?
Yeah.
So it's rent and real estate.
Right.
Well, they look at it as a lagging indicator. So if you look, over
Yes.
the last 12 months,
Yes.
rents have gone up, prices
Yeah,
have
yeah,
gone
yeah.
up, right? So it's putting all this pressure on CPI. But if you get into the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to see it actually come down. So what the Fed did worked. Savings accounts are down. Consumer credit card debt is up. Right, spending is slowing down. The job market we're actually losing jobs right now.
But if rates go down, prices go back up. And if you
Yes.
have less jobs and the same income on your job, how are you going to? How's that going to change anything?
No, to
Go ahead,
veto
Just
like
let these guys
Aaron's
through.
point, when inventory levels, when interest rates go down, demand goes up, and then
Absolutely.
if your point is like that'll motivate sellers to put their homes on the market. We saw lower rates in 2020, 2021,
Right.
and we didn't see inventory
Well,
levels go
because
up.
I think that's only a segment of what would add to the inventory.
Right.
Right.
What we're missing in our inventory right now are move-up buyers. Right. To Jason's point, he's never going to leave a 2.27 or 2.7 interest rate. So what we don't have are those move-up buyers, the people that have condos and entry-level homes that sell them to move up to somewhere
Life
else.
events.
generational
Life events.
thing,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think.
we don't have that right now. So when
Our
interest rates
generation
drop,
that needs to sell when the time comes is that generation that never has to sell again.
But our generation can't even get in yet.
But our generation can get in. They just think that they want to get in at such a higher price point than they can afford. They need to get in where they can fit in, make their money, and
Jump
then
into the
move.
market.
I'm glad you brought that up because for the ones that think they can't get in, there's the Cal HFA Dream for
100%
All
That's
program.
I'm negative against it.
Well, okay, perfect. So let's explain what that is. So State of California came out, they rolled it out March 27th and said, okay, we're going to earmark $350 million. Used to be, it was
500 million.
used to be half a billion.
25%'s been reserved.
Well, yeah. So it started out as 500, but
Now
it's
it's
time
at
the
3.
product
David
actually-
knows his shit.
Oh, I know, Mike.
And they already
I,
gone
I
through
was
100
in.
million.
I was in the Zoom call. I am a
crap.
hater.
Dang, hands folded, mic
I,
up.
I'm a hater. I'm just ready to go to battle.
And if we each talk
come here
one
and
at a
throw it out there.
time,
I don't know.
people will actually be able to understand what we're saying. So I'll start, and then you can comment, right? It's a relationship,
Yes, yes.
right?
Wow,
Right?
you are good.
Okay, so
Mr. Sales Manager Dave.
just a lot of therapy. But when this program was conceived, they earmarked $500 million. By the time it launched on March 27th, they brought that number down to $350 million. But it is an equity share program, right? And we'll get into the details in a second. But for
Dave,
peop-
explain to them what equity share means.
Absolutely. So this program will give you up to 20% down. They're going to give you the money, right? So if I'm your generation and I don't have a lot of money to put down, and we know traditionally you need 20%, although it's not always true, Cal HFA is going to grant you that 20% down. Now, you don't have to make payments as long as you have that loan. It doesn't accrue interest. But when you go to sell that house, they want you to pay back the 20%, plus they would like 20% of the equity that you received, right? They're sharing in the success with you. They want 20% of that appreciation. That way it allows them to put money back in the pot and fund it for future generations.
Yes, absolutely. Which
Yeah.
has every single person in the state of California getting, which they've now narrowed it down to 2,300 people total, and they just now said it will. They just now said they're pausing it because so many people are going after it.
Of course.
That's not true.
They are. They're splitting it up into.
finish the
They're splitting it up into different areas of California to try and even out the flow of who gets this.
Because, yeah, 100 million went
Yes.
But I still have people getting approved. I had someone get approved for it this morning. And I just sold Mendocino to someone.
Let me just say this: if you're gonna go after a $850,000 home or below, absolutely, take advantage of it. If you're going after $1 million home, you're not going to be able to afford it. If you can't afford $200,000 down on $1 million home, you can't afford a $6,800 mortgage a month.
I don't agree.
Well, okay.
Down payment is the issue.
I'll tell you,
Income is not.
here's my challenge to this program. For one, if you can afford to do it yourself, do it yourself. Don't give up the
course,
equity, right? But what drives me nuts is every time, this is the government's answer to affordability, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're doing is you're giving, and this happened before, I don't want to say 2008, I'm not saying it's going to be that desperate, but you're creating a vehicle for individuals who can't afford a house to be able to afford a house with 100% down. First time in history that people don't have to be vested. The fact that it used to be 3.5%. The fact that somebody's pulling money out of their pocket to buy a property, compared to where they have nothing vested.
Right.
Well,
I think
it's
it's
people
awesome.
buying
Personally-
homes that shouldn't buy homes.
Personally, I think it's an asinine idea.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
I think
there
it's
you go.
another way for California
I'm the
to
irrelevant
own
old
more
guy.
of the state of California. Who's going to help Who's going to help the buyer
of all,
if they lose
I
their
don't know
job
why
and they
you're
can't pay the
yelling.
mortgage?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the state of California?
We all have microphones. Nobody needs to yell.
Well, look at it. He's like,
Who's gonna help? Who's gonna help if they can't afford it?
The
Take care of that
government
mortgage.
is going to bail them out like they always do.
So that's another excuse for them to own more.
Hey, man, my sellers benefited from it.
Benefiting
I think
from what?
it also
Selling.
opens up an opportunity to own a home for people that never thought was possible.
Exactly.
and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you know what? For the right circumstance, it
It's not
makes
for
sense.
everybody.
Right. Just,
Yeah.
I agree with that. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
It's like,
Whatever.
But at the same time,
Hey,
I
wait,
mean,
sorry.
I have a client that's looking to get. He's pre-approved with it, and it doesn't make sense for the properties that he's targeting because he's thinking of, let's buy the property and put 200,000 into it and remodel it around the 850,000. I'm like, why does that? It doesn't make sense because you're sharing that 20% with the government, right?
Right.
Upside.
Well, no, that's the exact point, right? So if you want to do improvements or anything else, now on a
Exactly.
true equity share, we used to do equity shares back in the day, and we would share that cost because that's a fair thing to do. But the government's not going to share that cost. So if you ever want to do any remodels or anything, it's on you. You'll get the use and enjoyment of it, but again, you're going to give away 20% of
But
that.
if we flip the script, and the reason that I'm for it is because, in my case, I was representing a seller, and all these offers started pouring in, and I'd say half of them were approved with this program.
And
What's it to
I'm
them?
with you. From a seller standpoint, I don't give a
great.
shit. I don't care where the money comes from.
It's like
Yeah, I
Section
don't
8.
either.
Yeah, it's like,
and
hey, that money's
it's
there.
backed and guaranteed that the loan's
Hey,
going to pretty much
from
go
a
through.
seller standpoint, I agree.
Yeah, I thought it was
You know,
great.
and I also agree. It's like David said. Listen, there's programs and options for everybody. My challenge is you're going to an industry that has a very low bar for professionals in our industry, and you have people that might be forcing this down the throat of somebody as just an answer
I agree.
to make a commission check.
Yep.
That's my challenge.
My biggest concern is that they don't have to put very much down. So why would they just?
There's not a lot of skin in the game.
Correct. So
Yeah,
why would they not
totally.
just?
Which is what we saw.
But
in
California
07
is
and 08.
basically saying that they believe in the housing market here. They're willing to put $300 million in, and they're hedging appreciation. That's all they're doing.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I
But
think they're going to take advantage of the people who are going to remodel, refinance for the remodel, and then refinance the second time and have
So is
to
this
pay it
a
all
business decision?
No. Does the government ever make business decisions?
no. we had a. Well, I won't talk about
I
politics.
guess we're that's right.
We
We
had a
can't edit this
president-
shit out.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Or stuff. Sorry.
Stuff.
I think it's a good segue to. I had a question for all of you.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
throughout
here we
the-
go. First question of the day.
Throughout your time in the business, what's the best loan program that you would go for? Let's say you had
All cash.
You
That's not a loan program.
Unrelatable.
Yeah, Mr. We should get him a hat, Mr. Unrelatable.
let's say you had access to each and every program
Yes.
available out there.
Yes.
I want to go through each one of you. And
Okay.
I'll go
okay,
first.
I got an answer too.
I'll go
I'll go
first.
third.
I'll go first. I would take a 10-year interest-only loan. Because interest only gives you the lowest payment, but you have the flexibility to pay additional principal And if I paid $50,000 or $100,000 additional principal,
Yeah.
my payment would recast automatically. Versus a 30-year fix. If you throw an extra $100,000 down on a 30-year fixed loan,
Right.
your payment doesn't change
Correct.
until the end.
Correct.
So that I'd go 10-year IO and ride.
Would
with
you
that.
do that if 30-year fixed rates were at 3%?
Depends on my situation, right?
We're
Now-
talking about right now, like
Right now, where the market is right
Yeah,
now.
Oh,
right now-
But that's not
oh,
what you asked us.
oh.
You asked us over our entire career. With
Yeah.
no,
that's a
as
program.
in, let's say
If all the programs were available today, which
right
one
now,
would you take?
yeah, let's say you were eligible for.
Oh,
every
I
single
still go
program
IO
right
today.
now.
Well, I
Because
would.
know
You
rates
have
are
to go
gonna-
IO today. I
So
mean,
they
listen.
can afford.
I can give you an example. Well, no,
Allagash.
I won't because I guess I'm irrelevant.
Yeah.
So
Not relatable is different than not relevant.
So Mark would pay cash and buy the neighbor's house.
no, but
in Austin.
But I'll tell you this. So I did we did a 5-year ARM IO.
First Republic Bank.
First Republic Bank. Shout out to Tony, our
Still in
personal,
business.
and they're still in business. They're not JP Morgan.
Oh wow.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Anyways, so we did an IO,
Yeah.
and when you look at a cash flow perspective, right?
Yeah.
And I could afford, no,
What's an IO?
all right, whatever,
You
interest
like
only.
the flexibility.
So our payment literally, by going IO,
Yeah.
cash out of my pocket every month went down 60%.
Yeah.
But you know the funny thing about that is you still have to qualify.
At the higher.
Well,
rate.
that's
At the higher
absolutely
rate.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's still have to qualify, but as long as you qualify.
Yeah.
So to David's point, yeah, I mean, listen, I like everybody likes cash flow, right? And you want to put your money to work elsewhere, right? Especially at low interest rates like that. So definitely, I'm always for depending on the situation.
we're saying right
10
now.
years is okay.
Even
I
more
agree with
so.
David.
Even more so now, I go interest only
A
because
10-year IO product would be awesome.
because if you look at the amount of principal you're going to pay down over the next 3 to 5 years, it's nothing.
See, I'll tell you the challenge I had. We were Dee Dee and I were in the process that we were going to buy another house and remodel it or build it, right? So we figured 5 years would be our time period. So the challenge we're in now, we decided not to build that house. We're staying in our house now. I got 5 years ticking, and we're at
Oh, that's right.
2.75%.
You said that.
How much
So
time
I'm
do you
at-
have left?
Maybe 3 years,
You'll be
2 and a
okay.
half,
Oh, you'll be
maybe
okay.
2 and a half.
So I think a lot of
But I'm at
people-
2.75.
a lot of people made that assumption or mistake, maybe
that?
we'd call it.
Assumption.
Too short term.
Well, I have someone that I know that's very wealthy, and besides Mark,
It's Dee Dee. It's not me. Don't worry about it.
and he was buying an investment property about 3-4 years ago, bought a 90-unit building in Santa Cruz.
Oh, I got it.
And
90 units,
and
damn.
they got interest rates were very low, as we know. They took, as a group of investors, 5 of them, they took a ARM, adjustable rate mortgage. It was a 5-year, a 7-year, and now, unfortunately, their time is up, and it no longer cash flows. So they're going to
think?
dump the property.
Watch. So this segues perfectly into something I want to talk about today. First of all, in commercial real estate, they're typically arms anyway, right, Mark? Commercial real estate, typically adjustables.
Yeah, totally.
But check out this. I read this today. In the United States, there is $2.9 trillion worth of commercial mortgages out there. 50% of them adjust in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
That'll create more inventory.
That's commercial real estate. So there's this impending, depending on who you listen to, there's this impending doom in commercial real estate right now because half of the $2.9 trillion in commercial mortgages right now are set to reset or recast over the next 2 years. The problem is a lot of that is office space.
Yeah.
No bank wants to touch office space right
That's
now.
right. It's very true.
And
It
the
is
difference with commercial real estate versus residential is there's so much less emotion involved, right?
Well, it's just
well, do the numbers make
Business is
sense?
business.
Do they?
That's
Do
it.
they or do they
The
not?
numbers and the
And
timeline.
if they don't, they walk.
But I got to tell you though, I would never buy an investment property based off of a low interest rate product that has a short horizon on it.
But if they were to
That
do a
is asinine. I'm
30-year,
sorry, but that's asinine.
a low interest 30-year rate, which half of them wanted to do and
Right.
half of them didn't,
Yeah.
they would have been totally fine. It would have cash flowed forever. They would have
And
made
they
a
would have
little bit
locked
less.
in that rate.
But now they're going to lose money on what
Yeah,
they sold.
totally.
So let me ask you a
somebody made a
question.
stupid ass decision.
so let me ask you a question.
Dang, Mark.
Just saying they did.
So let me ask you a question. I thought I heard you say now they have to sell it.
They have to. Well, they're
Do we
going
have
to.
that?
Do we have the listing?
Like Mark and I do a ton of commercial real estate. In fact,
go.
Quick segue. I Googled commercial real estate agent today.
Yeah.
We were the first one that popped
Hell
up
yeah.
on Google.
Boom.
Try it. If you're online
Boom.
right now, Google commercial
Applause,
real estate.
applause.
That's
Where?
because your cookies are set for yourself.
Don't spill the tea. But no, but that like non-sponsored organic search.
Badass.
Commercial real estate. Now we gotta do
Badass.
it for residential.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
survey says.
There we are. Okay, so
Oh, here, I'll just do this. Does anybody know what this is?
Can't
Are you
see
John
me.
Cena?
John
I thought you were
Cena.
Madonna. You mean
By the way-
Madonna?
The girlfriend.
Madonna?
By the way.
Like, did you guys not watch March Madness and the Women's Basketball Championship?
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you don't know what
dude.
this is,
Yes.
You can't see
just
me.
get off my podcast. Get off my podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
All right,
I
wait.
think we got some questions from the audience, don't we?
Well, let's
Wait,
see.
I wanted to-
What- No, we got
okay.
time.
Wait,
We're
we're
rolling.
on a new kick for everyone watching this. We teach Mark new slang words every
Dripping.
Yeah.
Dripping.
His
I
new
heard
word
dripping.
is drippy.
Oh God.
Hey, yesterday he learned what post up meant.
Yeah, post
Oh,
up.
post up?
We had our photo shoot, and Mark's like, "What's
Post up?
post up?"
Yeah.
Dude, just be cool against the wall.
That's funny because then 2 days ago we asked G, what does 86 mean? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Now I
It goes
know.
both ways.
Get rid of.
Give us one.
Give you one? I'm at a
Well, why don't you
loss.
throw one out and see
Throw
if
one
you
out there? I'll
know
see
what
what
it
I
is?
tell.
Riz. No,
All right, what's
I got
the
one.
deep
I got
one?
it. Riz.
Yeah.
You know what
No,
Riz
I have-
means?
fucking no, how the hell
explain?
do I know what
Riz?
Riz. R-I-Z-Z.
It means
Riz.
pick
I
up-
know what Riz is.
You know what Riz is?
Yeah, yeah. pick up,
I
pick up
have
game.
kids at home, so I know what Riz is. So why don't you explain it to Mark? Tell him what Riz is.
Riz
Give me
is
a
like
hint.
your game with the other sex,
ladies.
the ladies.
Like, do you got game?
Do you have
It's like
game,
what's your
Mark?
sex
Like,
life is
you've been-
I guess we can ask this to Dee Dee. Dee Dee, does Mark have Riz? Oh, a lot of Riz. Applaud.
Applaud. All right.
cap? Cap.
Like, I'm
Like,
gonna cap
that's
your
cap.
ass?
Like no cap.
Oh,
Mr. X LAPD here.
yeah. Mark grew up in L.A. If no,
Like, if you said that's cap, that means what?
Some guy came up to me the other day. Hey, you got some new kids on? Or
Kicks. We have some new kids on.
I was like, kicks? What the hell are kicks, man?
Going
I
back
was like,
to
no, you got new shoes.
Mark, I said unrelatable.
Mark gets an offer and he tells the buyer's agent,
All right, I'm
"No
out of here. I'm
cap."
going to get another drink. I'm going to go to the bar. I'll meet you guys at the bar.
Speaking
cap.
of drinks, Ben, can you grab those for us? All right.
All right.
So Mark learned what Riz is, what kicks is.
I know what dripping is.
No,
What's-
it
what-
drip.
Your drink is dripping all over the
Yeah,
table.
I'm dripping your drink.
A roof lick.
Yeah.
All right.
What kind of drip?
Okay. All right.
Oh, it's a good thing we're live.
All right, we only got 20 minutes
All right, let's
left.
go.
Let's hold it together. All right, so did you want to talk about
Can we pepper in a question at all? Or what?
Oh, yeah, I got
I'm
it.
getting a call. I'm getting a call.
Aaron's
and I'm getting a
Hey,
call.
call it. Answer.
Should we answer it?
Tell
Yeah,
him you're
go for it.
live.
Tell him, dude, you're live on the podcast. What do you want?
right.
Come on, Nick. Ask.
What's
ask
up,
me a
sweetheart?
question.
You're live on the podcast. This is Nick Gummo with Coldwell Banker.
What's your question, Nick?
What's
What's
your
your question,
Nick?
bro? You're live.
My question is, how is the current state of the real estate market?
That's a great question. In fact, we talked about that the first 10 minutes of the podcast.
Depends on what side of the fence you're on.
Yeah.
Are you asking for a buyer or a seller?
Buyer looking about $3 million. What's the market like?
Buyer looking above $3 million. What is the market
or
looking like?
Above.
Go ahead, Ben. You just
Come on,
sold a
Ben.
$4 million house in Los Gatos.
I think if you're a buyer for $3 million, there's no happy medium. I think if you're going to go over $3 million, you should find something that you either need to renovate, put some equity into it, or find something that's turnkey. I think right now, with what is out there, it's your chance to nitpick, find something off market, and let us get in there and negotiate for you.
Well, perfect example. We have two buyers.
Thanks for your call.
Yeah, thanks for your call, Nick.
Thanks for your call, Nick. Here's Dave's answer.
Hopefully he answered your question.
I-
I don't know if he did or not, but
I have two. We have buyers right now, Nick and Sydney,
Yes.
who are looking for a $3 million house in Los Gatos. We cannot find them anything
Right.
decent.
well, I think to that point though, it's also geographical location, right? If
Well,
you're down
East
in
San
Morgan
Jose,
Hill,
if you're in East San
sure.
Jose, you can buy a
Yes,
whole-
and Los Gatos, it's entry point pricing, right? Hey, great question, Nick.
Hey, caller, are you a realtor by chance?
Sell my house.
But we have a proven strategy to net you more money than anybody else.
You should just join the team, Nick.
To hear more about that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I'm going to call up Doug and say you signed up with us.
No, don't call him.
all right, Nick. Well, thanks for the call.
Hey, thanks for the call, Nick. We appreciate
All right.
it.
All right. So,
next.
Aaron, you said you have some questions coming in. Go ahead.
Oh, what is the difference between hiring the #1 agent online and us?
Online? Why is it on? Okay.
What does that
Because-
even mean?
Yeah, why is it
Well,
online?
because not my clients, but people who are buying homes that I know maybe out of the area that I haven't had the opportunity to work with,
Okay.
are finding their agent online.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Typing in top agent in XYZ area, and they're going with that person.
Is that what they're doing?
I buy those keywords too.
Yes,
So
so
sometimes
that's
So-
what they're doing. But they're trying to find the agent that has the most homes sold because
Okay.
they feel like they're the most knowledgeable in the marketplace. However, the issue seems to be consistently that they are not getting the correct attention. Once that initial meeting happens,
Right.
they feel like they're getting dumped to the side.
Right. So a couple things. For
Think of the
one,
agent that you're talking about. Sorry.
that's all right.
I'm just gonna.
Okay. I think. So your question is, what's the difference between us and somebody online, or how do they look for an agent?
How do you look for an agent, and then what's the difference, and why should you not just type in the keywords to Google?
No, great question. And we even say this. We say it all the time. Interview 3 agents.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Don't just settle
And that's
for the
buying
first-
and selling.
Absolutely. Don't
yeah,
just settle
absolutely.
for the first one. I'm okay if you want to Google top real estate agent in XYZ
Totally.
market, but then ask for a referral from other people in that area. Talk to people that you know and interview at least.
So I think it's a great thing to use Google to do initial research and stuff, but get them in front of you, do those interviews, right? Where I have a problem with is, and our industry constantly does these kind of like bait and switch type tactics that I can't even believe are freaking legal. Let's look at Zillow. We have our listing out there. Somebody wants to go for a showing. To the consumer, the perception is they're contacting the listing agent of that listing, right? We agree that? The buyer goes to the property, they meet the agent, and they're thinking that guy's a listing agent.
Yeah.
We know damn well that's probably a newer agent who's paying for leads, who is not even associated with the listing agent.
Absolutely.
So that's a wrong way to pick up your listing agent,
Correct.
your agent, right?
As a buyer agent, I'd like to say, if you're looking for a home, don't ask a bunch of agents to go out and find it, and you're going to work with the one that
That's
finds
never
it.
gonna work. Yeah.
I think,
I mean-
especially in this market, you need to find an agent who, and again, we just said this on the phone, you need to find an agent who can negotiate for you. I think agents
How do
go
you
out there-
determine that's the right person? Like initial meeting, how do you find that person?
You got to ask key questions. You have to and again, it doesn't always have to do with the questions that the buyer's asking. If you're an agent in this industry who is in the trenches every day, like we are, you can answer those questions for them before they even ask that question. If you're sitting in an interview having to nail this agent down with a bunch of questions of what they can do to help you, how their negotiation skills, them right there just not being able to speak up, I think is a clear factor that they won't be able to do that for you when the time actually counts.
Well, and I'll tell you what I do, because I get a lot of referrals from out of the area, or agents refer people to me that maybe aren't familiar with me. I will send them our social proof of what we do.
right.
I'm not just saying I'm the top agent. I'm saying, hey, look, statistically look at what we're doing, which you can look through Zillow. I'm saying, look at what content we're putting out on YouTube, because it's, sometimes our podcasts are silly or whatever, but at the core of it, it speaks to the depth of experience that we have collectively.
Right.
So I will out educate, I will out show anybody else in the marketplace that we have the depth of knowledge and experience
100%.
in this market to get the job
100%.
done.
So, but my question,
uh-huh.
while all those things are great,
'Kay.
how do my friends that are not going to me to find the agent, they're
Right.
going out and looking on their own, or maybe
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
friends'
yeah,
friends,
yes.
Right.
how do they find the right agent?
It's personal.
That's
Well,
a good.
no, hold on.
That
I think
word right
that's
there. I
So
like
one,
the word personal.
you got to narrow down what are your top priorities, just like with a house, right? What are the top 10 items in a house that you're looking for, and you're only going to get 7 of them checked, right? The
Well-
same thing. What's the most important?
That
Let
that
me
that
finish.
has
Go
that
ahead,
has to do with the
finish.
home search. Though. That
Can I
has to do with the
finish?
agent.
No, go ahead,
I was
finish.
using it as an example.
Go ahead,
So do
finish.
the same thing with your agent. Come up with the top 5 top items that you're interested in. How their experience is number 1, right? What's their experience, right?
But is that the most important?
I think the most important thing is connecting. Good.
No, go ahead.
You need to
bro.
go to
Come on,
therapy and learn
mustache
to let
moment.
people to talk.
Sorry.
I think
Yeah,
it's a
therapy,
know
just
you
listen.
like. It's a know you, like you, trust you kind of bit.
Shut up. Go ahead. What'd you call me?
Welcome to the Jeep podcast.
It's a know you, like you, trust you kind of business, right? People work with people they connect with.
That's
gotta-
the problem, though, because most real estate agents are good at bullshitting.
Right, totally.
And
It's
they
a
get
smoke and mirror
people
show.
to trust and like them, right? I mean, how many agents do we know? Not in our office, but put on a perception. Mark always says perception's reality, but the reality is it's an 80-20 rule. 80% of the agents out there blow smoke
So,
up people's ass
I'm gonna totally
to
yes.
make them feel
Yeah, 'cause
good,
they tell
to
them what they want to
gain
hear, this kind of thing.
trust.
So here's some things I will throw out there, right? I don't know how this answers your question. The 2 reasons why not to choose an agent is where they're going to tell you the price your house is going to sell for, because generally they're going to tell you what you want to hear,
And they're the cheapest.
and their commission.
Yeah.
Do not hire an agent based off of those things, because a good agent with negotiation skills will more than pay for their commission. We just had a deal close to us here that actually would have tapped out at 2.5, but we got our client an extra $20,000. You know, I mean,
I get what you're saying, Aaron. The challenge for a consumer that doesn't meet with us is you don't know what you don't know.
100%.
So how can a brand new buyer know what questions to ask to make the right
I
decisions?
think next podcast we should come up with the number one question you should ask your agent.
How many deals have you done in the last 12
100%.
months?
I think experience is huge.
I mean,
current
you know what
experience.
pisses me off actually is when agents are on like these, not even a team, like we're on a team or a group
Right.
or whatever, but they're just posting the office's sales.
Because they got nothing else to do.
It's smoke and mirrors. It's a lie. It's not fair. It should be illegal.
But
in my
Aaron, that's what our
opinion.
business is all about.
I understand.
Come on.
But,
I know. But this is why I appreciate us so much.
So here's what I will
Respectfully.
say.
No, I'm going to tell you
So-
first. So why I appreciate us is we are 100%
Yeah, all right.
truthful and authentic.
Hey, Claudia.
Everybody.
Miss Yor, how are you doing? Go ahead. I'm just visiting with the.
And
go ahead.
you
I
actually
was saying how
you
we
actually
have-
missed a really good point.
Oh, sorry.
100% integrity. We are 100% ourselves. We are 100% transparent to the consumer.
What you see is
no
what you
matter
get.
What you see is what you get. There's no fluff. There's no
So-
bullshit.
Authenticity.
So I'll add something else to it. You know, in Los Gatos or in some of these areas, you have some very listen. We have incredible people in our business, right? It's not just within KW, it's CB, it's Sereno, all those other companies. We're all friends, and we're very collaborative in our environment, right?
Their names, but you know.
Oh, sorry. All right. Well, whatever. We're still better than them, anyways. No, but my point is, and I'll even say when I'm going in, I know I'm interviewing against agents that I know. I'm like, listen. At the end of the day, our experience. I mean, you're talking to some highly qualified agents here. Experience-wise, everybody matches that box is
Whether it's
checked,
you or
right?
somebody from another
right.
brokerage.
So then, at the end of the day, who's going to communicate with you the best? Right. There you go. See, right there. Communication's
if
key.
you can't communicate with them up front, it's going to be a
100%.
miserable transaction.
Totally.
And if you don't hear from them in the beginning, you're probably not going to hear.
Do you know what the number one complaint is from the consumer in our industry?
They didn't hear from them after the sale.
Lack of communication in general. Communication solves 99% of the world's problems.
Wow. So does massive amounts of oxygen.
I thought you said alcohol.
No, but it's
Just
a good
breathe.
point, right? And I think that's one of the benefits to being part of a team is we have multiple layers of communication.
I
Right?
agree.
Like if I happen to go on vacation, you know,
Right.
Ben can cover for me at an open house, right? We have Jess and Gina that make sure the marketing goes out, the vendors are being contacted, you know. The typical real estate agent is a single agent, and you'll see posts from those agents like, I helped my seller mow the lawn today and
picked up
plant
the dog
flowers, right? Which is cool, but you're hiring us to negotiate contracts and market your home.
But at the same,
not to wash, not to clean your windows and stuff right before an open house.
I would
right?
say that there's been a few times now where I'm like, this buyer is not the right fit for me. It's the
Right.
right fit
Absolutely.
for Ben.
Totally.
This
Yeah.
seller, I'm like,
Hey, I fired
dude,
clients.
I would love the opportunity to
Mark just
represent
gives
this
me all the
person.
clients he doesn't want.
I would love the opportunity to represent this person.
Yeah.
But Dave, I need you because you're the stats guy and they're numbers people.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
the right fit for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again,
So you
another-
have somebody from our team.
Another reason why to have a team.
Yeah.
I mean,
Question.
Oh,
oh,
Hey, Brenda from Texas asked.
oh, you're gonna.
Texas. We're all the way out. Mark will answer this one.
No, I don't know if we can answer that question.
Yes, we can. Watch this.
What areas of San Jose are not safe to buy?
You know,
Okay,
I
be
saw
careful when you answer this because there's people watching who are probably in
I saw it
areas.
pop up on the teleprompter, and I was like, dude, I don't know if that's a question we can answer.
Why?
Are we
okay.
gonna redline this?
All
Are
right.
we gonna do a red line?
All right, so hold on. First of all,
I could tell
hold
you.
that up. Let me reiterate the
No,
question.
I'm not gonna redline any area in San Jose. It's all a safe, great place to live.
Well, hold
What
on.
about King and Story?
Can I
Stop.
Can I stop? Okay.
That's a beautiful place to live.
First,
you're right.
first of all, if I was
They have
online,
the best stores there.
If I was
Carne
online,
asada is awesome.
Okay. First of all, if I was listening to this podcast and I heard everybody talking over each other, it sounds probably like a shit show. So slow down, one person at a time.
Look at our director over there is like,
I will reiterate the question. Brenda from Texas, which is interesting because I don't know how she'd know our marketplace, but she's asking, are there any areas of San Jose that are unsafe or maybe more safe than other areas? And the reality is, San Jose has about 1 million people. There's crime everywhere. There's issues everywhere.
across the nation.
Well, across the nation, but you know, she asked San Jose specifically. So of course, there's areas that have maybe higher crime statistics than others, you know. But what I can tell you is that there are good and bad pockets everywhere.
Yes.
Whether it's the East Foothills, downtown San Jose, South San Jose, where I live. I mean, there's good and bad neighborhoods having an agent that can understand the pockets where there are opportunities is what you want to align yourself with.
I think that's the key when this is just one component that a buyer's going to look at to what's going to make that area, give me the appreciation. At the end of the day, is this a good investment for me able to move on with my life further down the road, right?
And tell the story about me. I wanted to buy that house down at that
I won't say that, Jason, because okay, here's no, I won't. Here's Jason, who just graduates the Chicago School of Business and plants his wife in a neighborhood that he probably didn't do any research on. And then for him to call me and be like, "Get me the hell out of this place."
What city
So
was
that's
it in?
Let's
doesn't
keep
matter
it
where
anonymous.
I'd like to
it was a very
piggyback.
nice area.
I'd like to
It was a very
piggyback
nice area.
on Brenda's question.
Yes.
Okay.
Very
So
nice area.
if you're looking at homes to invest in or move to in San Jose, if you're not from this area, even if you're in from this area, one of the key things you're probably looking at online are the great school ratings, because everyone wants to be in a great school. They want to either be in a strong elementary school or a strong high school.
Sure.
I'm going to piggyback this question for Brenda with another question to you guys to
'Cause I'm gonna add
give
to that.
more
Go ahead.
input to the listeners who think the great schools rating are the ratings.
gospel.
No, not
It's
at all.
the gospel. So tell us, what are the great schools rating, and how are they even?
How do you rate?
Oh
How do they
my
rate
Oh,
schools?
here we go.
literally went through what we're going to talk about on this podcast, and you literally took my question after I just said it yesterday.
Dude, you're
No,
really loud
explain
right
it
now.
now.
Aaron,
Explain it. So
please.
he
So loud.
teed it up for
Hey.
you.
Hey, your directors, look at read your audience, dude.
Yeah.
Read your
So,
audience.
I don't know. I
Ben-
didn't look it up. I was my question.
Yeah. So Ben was trying to tee up the question for you
Aaron,
so that you could answer it, buddy.
God, have you been drinking?
I know.
No, I should be.
Bro, should I re-ask the question for
So
you?
so you don't have the answer to that?
No, because I didn't.
I
know.
have the
That's why
answer
it
to
was a
that,
great
'cause
question.
David
All right, well,
explained this to me.
All right. So go ahead, Ben.
Go ahead.
Grade school ratings are based upon the ratings of parents of the students who go to the school. And the way they come up with these ratings could be anything from the emotional attachment the students have within the school, from the emotional attachment they have with the school and the teachers. So not only are the grade school ratings involving the test scores, but they're also involving the emotional attachments. That
I think
There's
that's
multiple
important.
factors.
But I think
Multiple
that's important though.
So when you do look at grade school ratings, an important factor to note is when you click it, there's a separate section for the school test scores. Look at the test scores. Take that into consideration with the score. Ask your real estate agent, Aaron,
Yeah.
and David, Mark, and Jeet, what that means, how that affects the area.
Okay, but that's still one component where you buy.
Absolutely.
So when I see a question like this, it's why are you investing or are you buying? What is your ultimate goal, right? Because I will say this, there are areas that right now today you might not feel comfortable walking around the block, but I'll tell you what, I'd still buy in those areas. And why would I buy in those areas?
Because the rental rate is still high enough to where you
Because
can
of,
get
of
in.
appreciation. If I can come into an area and I see a lot of gentrification going on, absolutely I'll buy in that area. It might not be safe today, but to me, I like those areas because those are opportunity areas that I would look at.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
So
a lot of
again,
it has
for
to do with
Brenda,
the
it's a matter of what is your purpose for buying? What are your goals? As we always say, right? It's what's your goals?
What did you mean, Aaron, there by the, go ahead and
Well,
repeat yourself.
So if you lack Section 8 in a school district or school by itself, they will actually bring your score down. So they changed school ratings about 5 years ago. Especially, I noticed it in Cambrian. If you do not have enough Section 8 housing,
I don't like hearing that.
Why?
Why is that even a factor?
That's my whole point.
really was?
People,
Wow.
people are
That's the whole
buying.
point of this.
People are paying $300,000 more to be part
But
of.
hold on, you're saying that they track Section 8 housing.
If you don't have enough
recipients
low
in an
income
area.
housing in that school,
Yeah.
your score goes.
That's why the
from
city.
10 to a
That's why
9.
the city
Interesting.
puts those homes up, and they do it for the below
Interesting.
market rate program.
Okay. So here's
So we got like 5 minutes left. Where are
Let's
we
put
gonna
a
go with
pin
this?
in this, and,
Yeah.
and next podcast we'll talk specifically about greater.
I can't believe
schools
it's
and
been
how
an
they
hour
do
already.
ratings.
This is great.
I mean, we can just
This
keep
is
going.
this is from 4 to 6. I heard. Let's keep going.
Hey, do we have any comments from our listeners?
Well, wait, but we do have some more questions. But before that, I want to jump into a couple of things. So this
yeah.
wine glass, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's got our great logo on it. We are the only glass sponsor for the Los Gatos Wine Walk, April 22nd. So we have a limited amount of tickets
Yes.
to give away to our clients and our listeners. Once we give those away, we actually have access to discount tickets, right? It's like, 'cause I think if you go the day of the event, it's $55. If you reach out to us, we can get tickets for $35.
Why aren't we giving them to her free if they're our clients? We're going to really charge our clients
Did you
$35.
not listen? Man,
Sorry.
we
Yes,
are we,
$35.
are we listening to respond or are we listening to hear?
$35, yeah.
I said,
yes, we have
if
discounted
we
tickets at
run out
$35.
of tickets, if we run out of free tickets,
Oh,
Mark
yes.
will purchase a ticket for you. That's what's going to
And buy you a house in Austin.
with the winery. Anyway,
We don't own the grapes.
point is,
Sorry, go ahead, David. We want to
the point is, we have some great events that
Yes.
we've either sponsored or are hosting in the next coming months. So April 22nd, we are sponsoring the Wine Walk.
Yep.
Reach out to us if you want tickets. We'll all be there. May 12th, save the date. We have our annual casino night at La Rinconada.
That's like in a month.
That is a lot of fun. If you missed out on last year's, do not miss out
Yep.
this year's. We got 7 different tables, craps, roulette, blackjack, great food, great drinks.
Great prizes, trip to
Yeah.
Tahoe, cruise on the lake.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and then we continue to do client appreciation movie nights. So definitely.
Well, we got jazz in the plaza, music in the
oh
park.
yeah, jazz and plasma.
Hey, aren't you dressing like Mario Kart tonight? Or
I'm
something?
dressing like Super Mario
Super Mario,
tonight, but it's too
Luigi.
late for that. Yeah, I got to be there in an hour. Put
got
my
the white
mustache
gloves
on. Maybe I'll borrow Ben's.
Hey, you swear?
Yeah. But I mean, did you see my elf costume for Christmas? So anyway, yeah. So just wanted to let everybody that's listening that happen to come across us on Facebook Live, whatever, subscribe to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast, All Things Real Estate. I mean, we joke and give each other a hard time, but the reality is we have over 50 years of combined experience. We have a passion for what we do in our industry, and I personally feel that we give the best service. We care the most. And we would love that opportunity to, have that conversation with
Absolutely.
you about buying or
Absolutely.
selling a home. All right. My commercial's over.
Good. We got like 4 minutes. How about mustache moment? Do we have a mustache moment? Oh, look at that.
Always mustache minute. This one comes off of an actual example that happened this last week.
You didn't do it.
Hope to God he's not on live. Had some buyers in the middle of signing with notary. Have to step out of notary because the numbers on paper started to get to them and they weren't expecting that much.
Can I ask
So
you a question? Did they get that net sheet ahead of time?
They did, but what they didn't bring into consideration were the expenses on top of the mortgage. So when grandma started getting in the ear of her grandson,
Closing costs?
Like non-recurring and stuff?
you're gonna have your water bill. You're gonna have PG&E.
Oh,
You're
okay.
gonna. It started adding up. So as a buyer, don't only take your mortgage in consideration. Take in all the bills before you jump into a contract. Do your
Landscaping and all that
research.
stuff,
How
yeah.
much is water gonna cost? Is water included? How much is your PG&E?
Well,
What is
okay.
the internet gonna cost?
In addition to that is maintenance, right? What's the effective age of your roof? Is that roof only 5
You
years old?
go from renting a
Plumbing?
home to owning a home. You will have to take care of landscaping.
Yeah.
You will have to maintain the sprinklers, which will increase the water bill. As a buyer, make sure you understand all aspects of buying a home, mortgage,
I got to tell you,
bills,
I think that is an
lifestyle.
incredible subject for a future podcast, rent versus own.
You don't know what you
right?
don't know.
Right, because there are some people that say, I'll never own a piece of real estate. I'm going to rent my entire life. So it's interesting to have that
Which
conversation.
we had that conversation today
There you go.
on your townhome, right? Why would you pay $750,000 with a $6,000 a month mortgage? when
Yeah.
you
Right.
can rent
So-
the same townhome
for $4,000.
So that townhouse we just
$3,000.
sold, all in, you're at $6,000. Same
Yeah.
townhouse is about $3,000 to rent.
Why? Because you get 8.8 a year appreciation on that investment value
That
every
means
year.
that means in 2 years you think it's gonna be worth.
I'm not saying 2 years. You got to hold 5
Listen,
to 7 years to
in
hit
2
that
years,
cycle.
you can afford a home.
Good job,
Take-
5 to
Mark.
7
Seven
years,
years,
Not
bro.
to get
Fire
so
home.
mad at me. Hey, I actually have a plug.
Okay.
Wait. What does plug mean, Mark?
Yeah, what's
What does
He's got
plug
about
mean,
20
Mark?
of them up on his hairline.
Not funny, Mark.
That's messed up, dude. Hey,
That's all right. I'm going to be there soon. It's all right.
You're already there, buddy.
But for real, best answer. What does plug mean?
yeah.
You're going to plug a commercial. We plugged Double D's today.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, that's old school. That's like plug. Give me a
old
plug.
school. It's old
I got it.
school.
I got it.
So on April 22nd, we have Dumpster Day.
Same day as the wine walk.
Yeah, same day as the Wine Walk. It's going to be in the morning
Beautiful.
through the afternoon.
Where's the dumpster going to be located?
It is right by Dry Creek Road. It's actually going to be at my house. Dry Creek Road is in San Jose, Jess, because
It's outside the bubble in Willow Glen.
yes, in Willow Glen.
Yeah.
So- oh no, you're good. No,
Over the pen. Throw it back to pen.
It's already
yeah.
happened.
Anyways, April 22nd. It's already planned. Ashley's got it covered.
Yep.
If you want to throw things
Ooh.
away, you have
Last
extra
minute,
drunk,
guys.
come to me. Reach out to us.
Explode if it ends at 5.
We might. I don't know.
Oh,
right.
God.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go
Okay.
keep talking.
We got you. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up with this. We're gonna go around the table. We'll start with Jeet, who doesn't eat meat, and just some final thoughts. Could be anything.
Oh, we have a caller.
Who is it?
Dave, come on. Yeah.
Put it.
All right, let's go. We got a minute
Yeah,
left.
we
Come
got
on.
time.
Go ahead.
We have time?
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
get on
Sure.
speaker.
Hello,
right, we got a
and
call
welcome
in.
to All Things Real Estate with Dave Capagna.
Hey, I'd like a church cheeseburger with fries.
Wrong number.
All right. Wrong number.
So let's wrap it up with this. Let's
go.
go around the table. Jeet, you can start first. Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to talk about? Whether it's real estate, not real estate, just final thoughts.
You know, I think one of the main questions I get overall from buyers sellers is like, hey, is this the right time now? And one piece of advice is like, is it the right time for you, right? Like,
Absolutely.
regardless of what the market's doing, everyone's got to buy, sell, and invest like at their own timelines, and I think as long as they've got a long-term plan, it's always a good time.
Perfect. So
Awesome.
so it's a personal decision in every transaction.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right, go ahead, bud.
Aaron.
Skills pay the bills, and agents who lack communication are the
Wow,
problem.
that was deep.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Beautiful.
Ben.
I think I'm gonna piggyback Jeet. I think if you're a buyer in this market, get in where you can fit in, understand what your plan is for the next 5 years, and if that means compromising and finding out what works for you, take the opportunity to make it work, and it will all pay off in the end.
So have a plan, have patience, but know the direction that you're headed.
Stay committed.
Stay committed.
Stay
Okay.
committed to
All
the
right.
game.
All right, Mark.
If you're considering buying or selling, call us.
Wow.
Hey, there you
That
go.
was.
I love
No,
that.
do yourself
David?
a favor.
Do yourself a favor.
I mean, obviously, we're very passionate about what we do,
100.
right? And being surrounded by you guys, it invigorates Mark and myself to want to continue to do this day in and day out. So I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this.
Yeah.
When you talk about like staying committed to the plan, 5 years ago, Mark and I probably would never envision doing a live podcast at Double D's. But it's the evolution and growth of all of us, and then collectively as a team that has brought us here today. And we can be a bunch of goofballs, but at the end of the day, we're extremely passionate about what we do, extremely skilled at a high level. And so I just want to thank you guys for being part of the team. Thank you guys for listening. And our first live podcast is done.
Family.